The Web of Light Volume 1. https://author. Today/use/Sergey Plotnikov. Chapter 1. 0 Entry. The starting point. The equipment works silently, which cannot be said about the peripherals, buzzing bumblebees, and each in their own way. Power supplies, the radiometer beeps once a second, the coolers of a fairly old system unit, laboratory stand, and an almost new desktop. StarCraft 2 is the favorite game of the laboratory, are buzzing. My time is night. The experiment starts at 20.00 and lasts until 6.00, and there is no way to leave the laboratory without an employee. It is forbidden for safety reasons. It is not surprising that most of the time I doze on a chair or in an armchair, sometimes on an uncomfortable, flat sofa, similar to a bench from a polyclinic, if it is absolutely unbearable. A few months ago, I began to notice that my dreams have become more realistic, vivid, colorful. Even if I dreamed that I was a giant dragonfly, and the whole dream I was catching flying fish over the vast expanse of a thick, all shades of green ocean. I dreamed of various plots, from a replay of every day, from a series of experiences, to absolutely fantastic, like the struggle for the survivability of a military spaceship. Or not military. I didn't understand it then. What is the effect? Electromagnetic oscillations, yes, nonsense, that's what the radiometer is for. I told the boss, he assumed an infrasound. They brought a quartz resonator, searched, did not intend. We didn't understand anything, but considering that quartz has some selectivity of measurement. On the other hand, we would have detected any strong impact, but a weak one. There is not enough energy to damage anything in the body. Naturally, no one released me from night duty. And I wouldn't ruin my career myself. And now? Apparently, I very successfully passed out at the point of intersection of reflections from certain waves, sound waves or electromagnetic waves. This time I became a gloomy 9-year-old child who had just lost his parents yesterday. Somewhat unusual sensations, and again I remembered myself. I knew I was dreaming. But I didn't wake up, I didn't even try. There was no fear, it was interesting. A kind of alternative Japan. Why alternative? Here is the house, now mine, the boy has no living relatives left. Completely European design, right down to the furniture. Lack of social care, for some reason, not a single official approached me at the funeral, and I am an orphan child. We don't seem to be in Tokyo, I saw it in the photos, but it doesn't look like Kyoto either, there is no port, and I remember there should be. I was accompanied by the mother of a school friend, and she also had no doubt that the child would be able to live alone. It's kind of gloomy. While the funeral and subsequent movements lasted, I finally lost the feeling of a body lying in an office chair in the middle of the laboratory. But, I began to feel a fresh breeze here. This often happened in my dreams, I even remember the taste of the notorious fish from the ocean broth. I was still doubting that it was worth examining this burden, when suddenly it turned out that my friend was preparing lunch for me in my kitchen. Like this is her voluntarily assumed responsibility. By the way, unexpectedly delicious, damn. Even a feeling of satiety appeared, such a pleasant one. And I'm tired of crying. My emotions, according to the plot of the dream, were sad, and I got some strange, slightly unpleasant pleasure from the fact that they are not really mine. That's enough, I decided, and went to bed. The surest way to wake up in a dream is to go to bed. We've been through this before. Or wait for the end of sleep, a subjective 5 or 6 hours, but I got bored. Again, I wanted to remember the dream with lunch, not someone else's loss. I lay down and fell asleep. The first entry. I woke up again in a dream. However, familiar bed, familiar wall. An unfamiliar ceiling, no, the ceiling is also familiar, a square chandelier, a round lamp, very typical for the Japanese. More precisely, for manga anime Japanese. We also have such comrades, the round is dragged, the square is rolled, a suspicious similarity of styles. No? It happens that an unsuccessful joke of humor, especially if you are joking for yourself. However, I was firmly hooked. I wonder if the dream is original or inspired by something. It was both so and so. Rather the second, by the way, the anime lamp seems to hint. It's a pity, the original plots are captivating with their uniqueness, although the world around them is nowhere more real. Well, if that's the case, the show continues. First, let's try to figure out where I am. Or, remember. The second entry. This time I didn't have enough imagination for the original world. 48 hours of local time have passed, and of these 2 days I can remember almost a minute-by-minute scan when I was awake. A lot of things were new. Rinko came, that was my neighbor's name. A small girl, talks a lot, but cooks, as I noted above, surprisingly well for her age. We're 9 years old, by the way. Interestingly, I really didn't wait for the social inspector. I walked around the whole house, climbed into the attic, into the basement. I walked around the city, a magnificent park with a reservoir. The business center is built up with skyscrapers, somewhat reminiscent of Moscow City. Only the buildings are 2 or 3 times lower, but there are more of them. I went shopping. I tried to figure out the chronology. It's 2005 on the calendar. Again. It's school time now. I'm going to school tomorrow. The Japanese have a holy fetish in anime. I tried to remember something about myself in the quotes. I remember surprisingly little. At home, I tried to rummage through the documents. I found a certificate of ownership of a land plot with a house in some Noihara. It seems that according to the will from my grandfather, he got to me personally, bypassing my parents. Rinko is a common name, but I definitely met Noihara. In manga or anime. Entry 3. Yes, and the teachers look away, but are silent. So it is accepted. I wonder if that's the way it's done in real Japan, too, and my place is not at the back window. Either the template has broken, or the imagination is naughty, or I'm not the main character. Just hardly imagination. A traditional classroom seat for a manga or anime character. Japanese artists and animators diligently support this stamp, which has become a real tradition. I've been thinking a lot about what happened. I memorized a bunch of dates on the history of Japan here. Especially awesome motor writing skills. That is, I write like a chicken with a paw. It's normal for a junior, but still, I didn't have them. Again, we communicate in Japanese. I understand freely when I say, there are no difficulties at all. I should have woken up anyway, if the surrounding beauty was supported by my brain. Consequently, my consciousness is on, let's say, a third-party server. It sounds wild, but, if all possible explanations are discarded, the impossible is correct, or whatever Sherlock Holmes said, and for some reason, I don't really care about this fact, it seems. An interesting effect was given by the installation, after all, not a stimulant, something more serious. I already wanted to conduct research. Logically speaking, at 6 in the morning the computer will cut off the power, and even if not, at 8 the employees will come and turn off the installation. Will I be back? A very high probability. And how much local time will pass? Very interesting. Entry 4. A week has passed. I'm diligently filling my head with various information. I'm just a nerd. I drew hieroglyphs with a brush, ink, awesome. I drew a vase with flowers while drawing, cursed everything. I read a school history textbook. A letter came from the bank. I went to get a checkbook. I received it. I get weekly payments from my parents' account, good enough not to cook at all, but Rinko feeds me. That brings from parental generosity, then cooks herself. Yes, I carry a hefty amulet on my chest, a flat red silk bag than my palm. I tried to take it off and immediately remembered that my grandfather gave it to me when I was 6, 7, something's wrong with my memory. Has it become, probably still was. You can remove the amulet, but I can't move more than a meter or two away from it. Naturally my heart starts to fail and it's wildly scary. Mysticism sucks. Entry 5. Month. Did I create this world or did I get into it, or, to be a little more detailed, was this world created by human fantasy, or did the mangaka, anticipate it? Yes, I know where I am. There are no experts on creating worlds in line of sight, and there is no one to ask. Or you should stick to the theory of infinite multiplicity of worlds. Or sign allegiance to the religion of the name of Max Fry, and Juffin Halley is his prophet. However, from the point of view of a physical observer, this is all bullshit. The observer wildly does not like that he is the chosen one, that is, he got the full program. Some kind of perfume. I'm sorry, yokai. Have the Matsoku and the Kishins got mixed up? I also came across a manga from the category of eti, that is, perversions. Well, from the Japanese point of view of perversion, I don't see anything perverted in looking at beautiful undressed girls for a young guy. If only I was interested in guys. BRR, don't talk about the bad. Why do I believe I'm in a manga, and why not? The very fact of hitting is much more incredible. But back to the manga. My body, the guardian of himary. I remember her among all the plots by the presence of a main character with a support specialization. A certain clan feature, the Fairy of Light. The name is strange, what does the fairy have to do with it? And this is my only superpower, unlike representatives of other clans, who could conjure both this way and that way. Sort of. I've been reading manga for a long time, I don't remember everything. If we adapt the story, then the ancestors, mine, are not fools. The only magic available is an extended analog of the Fuinjutsu of the Uzumaki clan from Naruto. Yes, I also watched Naruto. My, now a personal clan, and I'm the only one in it, the last heir, and, therefore, the head. 9-year-old head, just super. But I digress. So, my ancestors, now mine, didn't watch Naruto, but they fought about the same way. They cast spells on themselves, such as spiritual vision, acceleration, muscle strengthening and even horseradish knows what, and chopped ayakasai. Oh, yes, my clan used to hunt demons. Cute. A kind of secret magical shinobi. Hello Naruto again. Ordinary people have completely forgotten about yokai, thanks to the government that protects us. In all seriousness, I say that the silverless hunters are far in the past. The Japanese, of course, are conservative people, but the corrupting influence of the West suddenly opened the magician's eyes. What the fuck? Now are, from the clans of exorcists, and there are already 12 of them in Little Japan, have sat out the government, climbed up. Not all. According to the manga, it turns out that we, Amekawa, were overboard. I wonder if the fuck. And I wonder why there are so few of us left that you can even put it in the red book. Yeah, feet first. I got distracted again. Amekawa. Abilities. Spirits, if in Russian, it is problematic to destroy them in connection with their epic power. Not all, some. And his is one of my clever ancestor 200 or 300 years ago. It's bad to forget the history of your own clan, bad. He solved the issue cardinally. Caught a cat. Hey, the demon cat. How is it? Bakaniko? No, Bakeniko. That is, a spirit cat, but in strength, a very advanced unit. Almost the ancestor did not end there. But bullshit, the cat was led to a vassal oath. How? I am most interested in this question. Because at the age of 16, my amulet will end, and I will smell delicious for the whole neighborhood with free magical energy. 4 free spirits, because no one thought to train the last heir. But they gave in advance a descendant of the very cat that will come to protect and instruct me after the end of the amulet. And, as I remember, the spirits will gather around, like flies on honey. And I, neither with a sword nor with magic, I won't even be able to order my only combat unit. And all why, according to the manga, the parents were taken away and rigidly fenced off from everything supernatural. It seems that they quarreled with older relatives. And why did grandfather give out the amulet then? All questions. Entry 6. One day off. 1. If it weren't for that, my life would be a raspberry. Well, until the age of 16. I had to wait for the holidays to go to Noihara. It seems that we have a clan library. It seems to be useless. Hero from the manga did not even manage to stick his nose into it. Techniques are transmitted orally. Yeah, and the description of strategic weapons, demon cats, just lies in the house. I doubt something. The Amekawa followed a deliberately profitable path, recruiting strong units in the enemy camp. Not everyone had to be defeated, some did not mind cooperating themselves, and then, support in battle. I wonder what motivated these energy substances to fight. Is it really only the security of life next to people? It sounds like nonsense. True, Noihara is now just a home enclave of sworn-in, but it seems to me that most of them fled with the death of their grandfather and parents. Or was it released on purpose while there is no support? In a certain sense, spirits are vulnerable. In order to somehow influence the world of people, they have to partially materialize. Fuck, the physicist in me is writhing and demanding Einstein's blood, but I must admit that I turned out to be a so physicist. A materialized spirit can be killed with ordinary weapons. However, these bastards, even the weakest, are very fast. But not faster than a bullet. Here Kamufsky Harold Potter is absolutely right. It would be necessary to think about where a 9-year-old child can get an AKM or ultrasound. Do you think I'm joking? Entry 7. I overestimated myself a little. I haven't been a 9-year-old for a long time. Again, a funny joke for myself, my legs get tired. You sit for 10 minutes, it's all gone. Then I'm thirsty, that is. I have already eaten 2 bags of chips, they are light. I try to drink mineral water little by little, I can't buy it here. I've been climbing the mountain for 2 hours now. Rough. Going to the clan house of relatives who have died in God is a bit creepy. According to the manga, yokai is a vampire. What's her name? I don't remember. My companions are waiting for me right here. But logically, the bloodsucker set up an ambush only after the heir of Amekawa appeared to the world, but for now I'm kind of gone. I wonder if my amulet only protects me from the glow of delicious magical energy, or does it completely cut me off from the spirit world, to go, or something, to the holy places. I remember, the water god who stuck to Yuto was an ordinary water spirit. If ordinary can be called a creature comparable in strength to the one-tailed Jinchuriki from Naruto, only water, not sand. Yes, analogies with anime about a moron from the Uzumaki clan come to my mind more and more often. Only here I'm more of a hybrid of 2 hero, Sasuke and Naruto. Yes, I don't have red eyes, but I think having such a Keki Zonkai, that is, an improved genome, it's not a problem to get them for yourself. As I said, the steam of light can be applied to yourself. I feel like a genin from Konoha, only Danzo is not here. Wait, or is there? Entry 8. Interesting place. Well, where is everyone? I half expected that not far from home I would be affectionately wrapped up by a type or types in black glasses and 3-piece suits. What's their name? Ah, the public committee. Or not, a strange name for a police magician. There are no spirits either. The house, by the way, does not look abandoned. The yard is swept. End. Silence. Only the trees creak occasionally, and the wind rustles the leaves. I'm sick of using manga as a guidebook. I remember it only in chunks, and there was about 5% of the plot there. What about 95? So fanservice is the same. Beautiful shapely fool. Spirits, yet. Memories of the body, ow. There is no fresh food in the kitchen. Thank you for having electricity. And even takes a cell phone. Rinko called, reported that everything is okay. For her, I went to remember relatives, although she probably thinks that at the cemetery. And I have a small altar right at home. And even aromatic sticks are lying. Where is this fucking brownie, that is, the spirit of the place that keeps the house? Yes, yes, the same fool who threw knives at me in the cannon. That is, not in me, but in Yudo, but I'm Yudo now. I want to eat. No, I want to eat. Am I the head of the clan, or where? Let me just sort out the blood inheritance. Keki Zhongkai translates that way, and someone will dance. I very much doubt that the vassal oath for the spirits was strictly voluntary. Have you ever seen a chain cat? Surely the conquered spirits were ferret. How will it be in the series about shinobi? Ah, they imposed a controlling genjutsu. Or firmware, probably. It is much easier to influence a purely energy entity than a person, and it is possible to influence human consciousness with a fairy. I'm kind of an example of this here. Or here, how did Noihara's blades come out of deranged yokai cats? Yes, I did find something useful in the clan scroll. Ugh, books. It's interesting, the house is not even locked, come who you want. On the other hand, there is nothing particularly valuable here, except for the house. So, or am I being stupid? Magic is the same, maybe there is a barrier with a selective filter around the house. And in the manga, anyone walks around the house. Or was the barrier stupidly discharged by my 16th birthday? That is, it will be discharged in 7 years. It's bad to be the blind, untrained last representative of a powerful clan that needs to be revived. That is, a typical hero of Seinen. Entry 9. It looks like I shouldn't have run into the brownie. She's not here. Apparently, there is a Matryoshka doll. An ordinary barrier protects the house from ordinary people and weak yokai. Arriving through the barrier, the inspector from the magical police will see only an empty house. But if something strong happens, the spirit of the place will manifest itself. I remembered, there was this technique in the manga. Virtual house. Oh, no, mystical house. A complete copy from the real world, right down to the internal organization of the space, and the spirits are sitting there. I wonder if the house is damaged, yokai will appear, or will I get a knife first, and then the spirits will figure out who was killed. Somehow I don't want to check. In the spiritual spectrum, am I identified as the heir or not, and does this very spiritual spectrum exist, or did I just invent it for myself now? You can remove the amulet. But I'm not sure that the barrier around the house will restrain the emanations of my energy. And a fox to a kitten. I mean, not himary, but a fox for me. By the way, according to the manga, Yudo did meet a fox, that is, a 9-tailed deranged kitsune, and I don't even know how they filled her up. And all kinds of big-eared and tailed insanity is a trump card, it seems. Entry 10. I took a couple of the most interesting notebooks from the library, PF. There were about 24 hand-filled albums there. I will think. I wonder if there are real descriptions of techniques in a virtual, mystical house. According to the manga, Yudo didn't find them, but he wasn't looking for them either. And Mizuchi, who is the goddess of rivers, might not have read it. Only the 3rd stage of Sharinan is able to read the writing from the plate. Damn, narrativism is getting into my head again, but I don't rule out the cipher of the eyes. Or a hand cipher. Activation is there by aura. Maybe a drop of blood. Damn, I feel like I'm in my own laboratory. Here's a sample for you, do whatever you want, but find me a resonant frequency. But the visible text is also interesting to read between the lines. Hey, ancestors, what have you got to such a dangerous thing? If it's about demon cats, then it's called, if not wagging, not instilling duty, but a full-fledged artificial personality. So me. Can you do that with people? Otherwise, in the future, the bride will come to me. Q's, I don't remember the clan. She stayed with us for some time as a child, we even kissed. Funny. My hormones will only work in 2 or 3 years. Something grandpa was mutating, mutating. And the parents? According to the manga, they refused to live as exorcists, but did they give up their own power? I doubt it very much. Entry 11. Rinko, poor thing, was all worried. Does he really think I'm going to jump off the roof out of grief? We've been friends for at most a year since we moved here. She warmed up my dinner. And your mother wasn't waiting for you, was she? Your grief is. Mine. And why is she sticking to me like that, unless... Okay, paranoia, scram. I'll think about it tomorrow. Entry 12. Both Rinko and her relatives definitely treat me strangely. They love you, they feed you, they give you water, but they don't climb either. Here is an adult, and here is not. I want to come, always welcome. Rinko cooks breakfast. 9-year-old Rinko, a girl boy, who has in her head to run until you drop and be more cheerful, what nose hung up. Suspicions gradually turn into confidence. By the way, we have an interesting quarter, just an exemplary order. Neighbors don't make noise, cars are always clean. The shops have angelic service. However, this is most likely a property of the entire service here in Japan. A kind of circle of close people who constantly intersect with a lonely sullen child. With me. I'm not sullen, I'm calm, but against the background of the same neighbor and electrician.